Hey guys, thanks for clicking in. And thank you for your patience. It took me a lot longer to get this episode of Mike's Bikes in the can than I anticipated. Yeah. Well, work has been taking up a lot more of my time these days, and the roads have returned to their pre-pandemic nightmares, making it take twice as long to do my job. And this damn camcorder I got to do this thing, just royal pain in the butt, I'm telling you. I can't figure out how to make it work. You know. It says, the description said it was perfect for amateur V-bloggers like yours truly, but I don't think it's very troglodyte friendly. No. But we troglodytes persevere. Actually, the team was having some creative difficulties. Yeah. Well, part of the problem was the I in the team. You know, I is the team. And I've been having quite the struggle with myself trying to decide how best I could help, or if it's even worth the bother to try. It's the old empathy versus apathy thing that most people struggle with. At least I do anyways. In this case, either choice was going to be a painful one because we're dealing with the no-win situation. And in this case, it's a society that seems blind to its own determination to self-destruct. Well, that's how I've been seeing it lately, and it's one of the reasons I haven't been a very happy camper these days. Yeah, I know, eh? Welcome to the club. It seems we all have something to be pissed off over, and for good reason, too, eh? Well, my recent struggle started when I decided that my next installment, which would have been this installment, should be about racism. Well, there's been a lot of talk about the need to have an honest talk about racism, so I thought a fresh perspective might help. Yeah, I know, right? Like, who cares what another angry old white guy thinks about racism? Yeah, you're right. I'm not that old. But still, I figured out that no matter what I said, someone was going to think I was full of bull or didn't know what I was talking about, or was just going to show my racism, which was going to be the point, or that I was just plain wrong. And for me, that meant I'd be sending the wrong impression to the people I thought needed it the most. Wrong impression. I wanted to send the right impression, but I figured people would get the wrong impression. Okay? That's what I was trying to say. It took me a couple of weeks to figure it out, but I finally concluded that if racism and honesty and just about everything else begins at home, then instead of telling you about your racism or their racism, I was going to tell you about my racism. From my earliest days right up to the present. I was going to tell you all the what's, hows, and whys as best I understand them. My hope was that if I was being totally honest with you, then you might take the time to be honest with yourself, and if enough people did that, then people might understand, or at least want to understand, how the other side felt. And that might help ease the growing tension we're witnessing these days. So I wrote and rewrote and rewrote, and I rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed what I was trying to say. And I finally got to the point where I could tell you how I honestly felt without getting all choked up about it when someone wiser than me pulled me aside and said, Mike, do you think putting that much personal stuff out over the internet is a good idea, or even a safe one? Yeah, you're right, eh? They had a point, so you're just going to have to guess for now just how much of a stereotype I truly am. But that left me with another problem. Just what the heck was this ultra-crepidarian going to talk about now? Now look it up. Well, I did what I do these days for inspiration, which is get on social media and see what people are talking about. Yeah, I know. There's a reason I love my psycho puppies more than most people. Just like there's a reason I spent most of my adult days alone behind the steering wheel as a professional driver. But seeing the world from that perspective, I believe, has given me a unique understanding of people. That's what I think anyways. Just like your experiences have given you a unique perspective. And like you, I'm quite convinced my perspectives are accurate. Well, one perspective is, what you drive tells me what you want the world to think you are. But how you drive it tells me who you really are. Well, what do you see when you see someone alone in a minivan, wearing a face mask, but driving like a total freaking idiot while they're texting away on their cell phone? Well, I see someone who wants the world to think that they're a caring, practical person, but they're really just as self-absorbed, thoughtless, and careless as the rest of us. Now, if you happen to be a minivan owner, you might be quite insulted by what I just said, and I'm sure you can argue just how full of crap I am. Well, that's because of another perspective I've learned. People see what they want to see, and they hear what they want to hear. I said, what you drive tells me what you want the world to think you are, but how you drive it tells me who you really are. If you own a minivan and don't drive like a self-centered idiot, then I'm not going to think you are one. Well, not for that reason anyways. Well, here's the funny part. Most people do not know just how lousy a driver they are. No, they don't. Most people think that they are good, safe drivers. We actually need to believe we're good people. So we come up with all kinds of reasons why we can't, don't, or won't follow the simplest rules of the road. That's assuming we know we're not following the rule of the road, and that's assuming we know what the rule is. And by the way, if you happen to be one of those lousy drivers who know they're a lousy driver and therefore a danger to themselves and everyone around them, but insist on driving anyways, well, I think that says something about you too now, doesn't it? Let me ask you some questions. If what I said offended you, why did it? I was just being honest about how I see things. Why is my honesty offensive? And should I be offended by how you see me or the things you say? And if you weren't offended, why not? It was a little bit offensive. And why do you think some people had the opposite reaction you had? We're all the same, Now, you don't need to answer those questions. I'm just putting them out there for you to think about. Anyhow, I think my observations about driving can be applied to the rest of our lives too. Like the jobs we end up in and how we do them. Things like how we deal with social media and our involvement in the community or lack of it. It's also part of another perspective I've come up with, like it's not what you say as much as how you say it. We'll get to that. From the clothes we wear to the body art to the things we post and comment on, just about everything we do, we're trying to make a statement about ourselves to the world. We're trying to make an impression. Even if that impression is, I don't care what kind of impression I make. We're still trying to do it. The thing is, the impressions we think we're making are not usually the impressions most people get. Well, they're not. Well, for one reason, people are looking at us from their own unique perspectives too, You might think you're giving the impression that you're an honest dude, telling it like it is, straight shooting. Other people might look at you and be saying, hey, you're quite the fool, buddy. You're just trying to get us to believe the same nonsense you do. Well, it's either that or you're mean or ignorant or just being an ass. Yeah, I've been called that enough times, I know. And if you happen to think, well, that's too bad for them, they're the ones with the problem, well, let me ask you this. What's the point of the sermon if you're only preaching to the choir? And what's the point of preaching a new world order if how you say it only convinces people to hang on to their old ways that much harder? I said in an earlier video that the feeling comes first, that we look for ways to justify how we already feel. And these days, people are feeling scared and angry and frustrated. This is not the world we were told it was going to be, or it is, but it's under threat. And we need people to blame for that. Like those guys. Yeah, they're the reason I'm pissed. And if I'm pissed off about this, then you should be too. And we're all certain our grievances are justified. And in most cases, to be fair, they probably are. Now here's my problem with your problem. I don't know about you, but if I got as angry and upset about all the things that people say I should be angry and upset over, well, my world would be a very dark and depressing place. And if we're being honest, I'm going to tell you, I've been there, folks. It's not a place I want to go back to. And it's not a place I want you to go to either. Sometimes we think nobody cares, and that's the problem. Or people do care, but they don't agree with us, so they're the problem. The solution could only be the one we've concluded it has to be, and everyone should agree with us or just shut the hell up. Some people are saying a big change is coming, and that may be true. But from my perspective, that big change won't be the brave new world we all think it will be. It'll just be history repeating, as we end up going to war over whose version of paradise on earth is the right one. Like either one is possible. History repeats because despite all our advances and discoveries, we have yet to evolve beyond our basic instincts, like the one for fear, greed, and the need to dominate. And if you're still wondering where I fit on the angry old white guy scale, maybe this can help. Are you ready? Okay. Yes, all lives matter, and that is because every life is precious. All men and women are created equal, and we're all born innocent. And when we finally truly believe that, instead of just thinking we believe it, then maybe we'll stop seeing color and all those other things that people use to just judge others so they can feel important and special. And when we start doing that, then maybe others may not feel the need to keep shouting out that their lives matter too. Now that might give you the impression that I'm naive or idealistic, and that's okay. People hear what they want to hear. What they didn't hear was the evolution part. Maybe racism will end when we finally stop seeing race, but I'm not confident it's going to happen anytime soon. People are people. My words are actually intended for those who might be convinced that we're not created equal, even if they don't know that's what they believe. A lot of us are like that. And to that, my friend, I can only say that it's sad that life is unfolded in such a way that has led you to believe that. It is your right to believe and think whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you something. This is, holding that much darkness in your heart is not healthy. This is not for you and not for the people you do care about. And if you happen to think that the people I just described aren't worthy of your compassion or don't deserve to be included in the conversation, well, the second we start hating the haters, then hate is won. And all the good we have tried to accomplish over the years will have been for nothing. Yeah, see, I told you something I'd say was going to piss you off. I'm not going to ask you what you think, but I do hope you think about it. And if you like this, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the like button anyways. And I do need all the help I can get. So if you have any thoughts, please enter them in the comments. Especially if you have ideas on things I should talk about down the road. Now, I don't think I'm going to see you in 2 weeks. Scheduling issues are coming up, and we got to set our priorities. Hey, there's an idea. Maybe I should talk about how our priorities are always back-asswards. Yeah. Anyways, until I see you again, be safe. Have a great day, everyone. Mikey out.